G'day and welcome to part 35 on the Fairlane. Well, it's kind of 35, but also there's bike updates, a little bit of info on what I'm doing with those, and some, rusty Yamaha fuel tank stuff, and I get the front of the Fairlane finished, nearly. I've got all the front of it buffed out, all the chrome on, some of the chrome on, and the bumper's nearly ready to go on the car, which is pretty good. And I forgot to I've got to do this too. Hang on a minute. There's nothing on this. This is the XC. I got a new alternator. Well, I've only got a crummy alternator for that 302 that's up at the other place. I might put the new one on here and take that and put it on the other one. That's not in this video, but yeah, anyway. And I've got to put an electronic ignition in as well. Anyway, so there's nothing on the XC in it, just a couple of words, and I don't know, I can never remember. That's my problem. The older I get, the less I remember. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Right, returning to a bit of work on the old ZK. I've had to water sand, what am I talking about? Wet sand this door to put the lock in. I can then go about, I've soldered up all this for the mirror, so I'm just going to put the door card on. Can't do that until the lock's in. This guard, this is the one that I painted outside and then it rained. So it really does need repainting. I'm not going to lie about that. There's a couple of areas that need repainting. All the ripply stuff there. You can't see it in this light. Can you see that? It's terrible. Same on that side and this guard. But I've wet sanded through a lot of the things that I thought were problematic. But a close eye will still see them. It needs repainting, yeah? But I don't think I'm going to do it. I just want to get the car finished on the road, drive around, and then I'll never see it. I know what I'm like. I know, there are things that I will redo, but I don't think I'm going to do that. That door's done. And of course, just got to finish Grant's welder and get that welding repair done, then the car's pretty much finished. And the weather, although it's overcast and crummy, the weather's actually pretty good. So, well, sporadically pretty good. So it means I can get into that front bumper. There's a bloody dent there I didn't see. So today, that guard could use a buff. I haven't done that yet. And I'll have to do that before the indicators and I've got to think about these trims too. I'm in a bit of a conundrum about those. But certainly before I paint the bumper and stick that on, because I really want to get that on. So I'll buff these two out. I've hit them with 1200, then 2000. I'm just going to give them a rough buff. Then mirror shells, and finish it off to the point that I want it. So I'm just going to keep going. Oh, while I'm at it, a friend of mine took that for a ride. We've got a problem with hesitation, right? And idle gradually falling. Carburetors need, I'm hoping it's not too high in the float. There was a leak down there. You can see that stain on the side cover. That's when I initially started it, but I might have to pull those carbs off again. Then otherwise it's completely finished, just a bit of a clean. This little Zeal, I've been pulling apart. It's actually, things like switch gear are full of cobwebs and mud. It's just the results of it sitting outside for so long, and I've taken the headlight off, taken it inside and dried it, and ordered a 7-inch chrome round light, which is what I wanted for it. The only reason I've labelled that is because I might have to short those when I go to start it. So the tank will come off next, and we'll do a compression test. I've got new plugs on the way. I've got some oil here for it that I bought, and once I ascertain that, that's cool. I can just pull it apart, and the engine will just fall out. I don't have to lift it out because it's part of the frame. So, for people interested, that's what I've been up to with that thing. Once I've got the indicator sitting in, I haven't done those chrome trims yet. I haven't quite got my head around that. Giving this side a buff. It's looking rather nice. It's nice and smooth. And I've got an issue. First issue is that just looks far too good. But the real issue is this light here is not working. And the light itself is working, and the switch when you pull the handle up is working. So it's got to be something in the wiring, but there were no breaks that I could see in the wiring between the door and the car, but that's most likely where it is. So I've got to figure that out. I've had to wash these up there inside, and they're not the first choice. The other ones that I had for this car, I can't find now. I don't know where they are. I've lost them. But I'm sure they'll turn up. The other thing is the Fairlane badges for the sides down here. They're going to be reproduction stickers that go over the original badges because they were black. They'd lost their brushed chrome, their brushed sort of aluminium look. But I have got a new old stock one that a wonderful gentleman passed on. That'll take sort of pride of place on the boot lid. So very slowly, we're getting there. A big thanks to Will Davies, who donated this, which is a new old stock original Fairlane badge. So, being new old stock, there's a couple of small marks, but I like that. It's part of its story. This is going on the boot lid. I think that's perfect. So, Will, if you see this, thank you very, very, very much. The car did come with a couple of faded off stuffed ones. There's no double, well there was, remnants of double-sided tape. I just rolled it off with my finger. Gave these a wash and then blocked them with 400. You can just see some of the remnants. Now this is, not Global Trim, I was getting mixed up, Graphics Unlimited. And I thought these were going to be pretty average because, well that's it, gave me 3. They look just like normal metallic. I don't know if you can see that closely. They don't look like the brushed aluminium finish the originals had, but that's just the plastic. These things are fantastic. Now, they're not easy to put on. There's a bit of a knack to doing them. And the way I found, what's that, is that water or did I spin? The way I found easiest, you're taking the top layer off. Now that's where I realised with the others that they were the brushed aluminium finish. I'm lining up the centres of the letters. It's easy to line up the outside, but then you look at the centre and they're wrong. And so in order to do that, I'm going to get it closer because I really need to see what I'm doing. You can see through the tape, but you have to line those up because if you get them wrong, the whole thing is going to look bad. Oh, I can't see. I think that's right there. I'm hoping I've got that right. We're just sort of pressing it on. To the original backing for the badge. Okay. I did a slightly better job with the other one, I think. And so these were $20 each and well worth it. Absolutely lovely. Anyway, I think they look fantastic. That's it's a bit prouder because it's already got its double-sided on the back, but aside from that, absolutely beautiful. I went in to go and get a cup of tea, and because it's freezing today, well, it's not that cold, but it's cold for us. And forgotten it started raining. I'll show you what I've been doing. I'll have to take that off and shimmy the boot off. Got that badge on, which I think was quite good. I might have been in the slightly wrong spot, but I don't really think it matters. I'll just shimmy the thing off. Oh, the bonnet's all dirty. Also got the wheel cover on. That Fairlane badge looks a bit white. That's the only problem with the reproduction silver. It's kind of looks good there, but when you look at it from above, the way they've, I don't know why, I mean, maybe it's the way the aluminium's brushed or whatever, it does look a bit white. I'm going to put this away. So I never finished what I set out to do today. I never do. I always happens like, oh, the other thing, I put that mirror thing on. I'm having trouble though, I'll show you what I'm having trouble with. Getting that to sit in the thing. Oh, and also, I've got the wrong one of these. I need to somehow figure that out. Nice. Chamoising with warm water, actually hot water on a day like today is actually quite pleasant. Right, so I've just given it a bit of a wipe over. This car, the bodywork's not very great. You can see imperfections all over it when I do that. That's just how it is. It'll still be very presentable, except that bit, because I've done that. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that's looking. That's cool. It gets its wheel cover once I'm finished wet sanding and everything's done. I didn't do the back one because I'm still going to take the axle out. This one down here. So that still has to come out. If it was warmer today, I would have jacked it up at the front, just hosed off underneath it. Pretty happy with how it's all looking. Got to put that mirror together. I've got to wet sand that first. Wheel cover, moulding, mirror, and the scuttle too. I've still got that. I think it's on the 750 somewhere. Well, it was there. Hang on, where is it? There it is on the MG. I've got to clean that up a bit. So I've got to paint along the bottom of the sills, the black, just sort of underneath there, and I'll do the XC at the same time. I've got that back door open. I've got to do the bottom of the front guard and then put its trimmings on. I'm looking for they're quite a long trim, the clip, sorry about that long, and they fit sort of, there's two pins, one there, sort of all the way along. The only guy selling them is a guy I've never bought parts from because I think his pricing is just almost humorous. It's that bad. So I certainly don't mind paying for them, but I'm not going to pay several $100s for used ones. This is just some of this vinegar solution I had left over from that motorbike fuel tank. Got the clutch pedal from the Falcon, and it just all comes off. And just a little bit wide wheel, it'll come up beautifully. There we go. How does that look? So I'll stick that in here. Might give that a bit of a wire wheel. This is particularly impressive. That's the speaker grill from the sedan, the XA sedan. That was very heavily sort of surface rusted. And I'd be inclined actually to zinc coat that. I've got to take another bunch of stuff to the platers, but I haven't been there in a while actually, so I'm really happy with how that looks. It's perfect. So it's time to wet sand this side. It's much more, it looks a lot more powdery, this paint. I think because it's got overspray on it, I'm not sure. But that'll all come off and it should turn out exactly like the rest. Just want to keep going. This is my least favourite thing to do. But I do enjoy looking at the job when it's finished. Not that I ever finish them because I don't polish them, I just buff them. So this is quite good, or very good, double-sided tape. And it's from Milson's. I think it's $13 a roll or something. So I want to make sure when I put these on that they're not going to come off, but not just that, you can see the double-sided tape through. So I want to make sure that there's none of it actually visible. So a new razor blade's always the best way to go with it, this kind of thing. Oh, there's another one there. And you're just doing the best path you can. Sometimes getting in between the A and the R and so forth can be fiddly. But as long as it's complete. I've done that a bit short, that one. As long as it's pretty complete, then it's all good. And the factory ones are adhered like right the way along. And I think it's the best way to do it. That can go at the bottom. Just sort of like that, you know. The only problem with doing it sort of bits and pieces like this is when it comes to taking the backing off, it can be a pain in the neck. So you're just sort of taking it off with a razor blade, if you know what I mean. Just to keep, oh, hang on, that goes back there, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So you just got to make sure you can see the paint through those, which at the moment you wouldn't be able to do. You can use this stuff either side of a body side moulding with a bit of urethane between it as a way of fitting the mouldings on the side. I'm not using them on this Fairlane. I'm sort of sorry that the car didn't have the mouldings, the chrome mouldings with it. Somebody took them off, and that's what lifted the paint in those sorts of areas. Right, so I'm just going to go and clean up what you can still see, like inside that N. By just running the blade through like that, and then that gives a nice clean line. Actually pretty rough. An X-Acto knife would have been better. And the stupid part is I've got one inside. And I've not used it, so it's really sharp. Look at that. I don't think it matters though. I mean, at the end of the day, this thing's going to stick like poo on a blanket. And we're nearly out of the wood, so I'm just going to go and stick this on the car. I've used the tape line, similar to what we did on the back. And place the badge. So I've got a 25 up from the rib on the panel, and then you've got 28 from the edge, which is what I did on the other one. I haven't got the proper forward measurements. I'm just using photos on the internet and placing the badge with masking tape and just having a look at it from a distance to sort of. But I do think it's wrong, but it'll be all right. I've got the same sort of thing on this side where it does look a bit white, but the good thing about having it double-sided taped all the way along. Hang on, I've just seen that it's not quite down. With exception to that bit, which I left a bit too short, but you can see. Sorry, I've got a ill-fitting plate at the moment, so I'm not speaking properly. You can see that it does look quite good. The problem I'm having is these. These are ZL ones, so they're never going to match the profile of that there. I'm trying to hold this. If you put it here, the profile should be pretty much the same, but it has to go a little bit higher. Like that. And we can put some polishable tape underneath it to sort of disguise the fact that it is too short, but it just doesn't fit properly. Well, we've got this side done now. What do you think? That was nice, isn't it? Not my first choice of mirror shells. This one has a crack in it, or a little chunk taken out of it. And I've still got to put in the interior mirror trim. But otherwise, I think it's good. I think it's fine. By no means a great paint job, but it's presentable. It's presentable, so I'm happy with that. I've got to get the brace for this side. The guard brace. I haven't got that there yet. And I've got the antenna to put in. I've got two. One from the wonderful Robert Boswell from the Wolseley Car Club that I'm a member of, and another one from a wonderful guy, Steve, who has supplied me parts going back to the XW. So I'm going to push this in got to do an oil change on the Corolla, but I'm not going to show you that. It's just not interesting. Right, so I'm really, really happy with how this is going. There's still little bits and pieces to do. I think I've got to... Can't get that side. Hang on, I parked it too close. I've done an oil and filter on the Toyota. I've got to take that to work to dispose of it. I've got to put these bits of plastic there and change out one of the... Over there, see that bolt, seatbelt bolt? Change that bolt. Still haven't found the friggin' pockets. And I'm a bit worried about the weather because I'm not sure if it's going to rain. I want to leave this on jack stands outside, the front of jack stands, and I want to pressure wash underneath it because I need to start thinking about putting the fuel tank back in. This 350 is finished, but I've just got to clean the seat. That's all that dust. It's a new cover. I got one for this too. This beautiful 750. So I've been buying parts for this 750 for ages. They've been in the some are in the study and some are in the shed. Last time I worked on it, I stuck those new Delcovic exhaust headers on it. Need to get this one going too. Scott and Gary were good enough to give me this beautiful tank, but I need to use it. Yeah, the Common Motor Collective have I thought they just did twin cylinder bikes. They've got the proper carburetor balancing tool for these engines, and I need to get one because I need to balance these on the 350 special, balance those. I've got, probably even on the 250 by the time I put it. I've got four cylinder bikes. Now, this is beautiful. It runs well, but the carburetors are way out. So I'm going to get on their site and buy it. That it just uses one gauge and it's dampened as well. So, the 4 gauges you see, you can get quite cheap. They flicker all over the place. But the Common Motor Collective have got this whole really well thought out set. And I've got enough bikes to warrant getting it, and it's not that dear anyway. So, once I've got that, the mirror isn't correct. Once I've got that, this can go for roadworthy. It's done. Just a bit of a clean. What was I coming down here for? I was talking about the Fairlane, wasn't I? Got a cup of tea. I think probably the best thing to do now is to take all this fuel out. See if I can do something with that tank, but it is damaged to the point where it's got like that kneaded 2-part adhesive stuff around the bottom, so it's probably leaked. There's a lot of rust inside. If you look at, well, you can't really get the gist of it there, but that looks really dirty, that fuel filter. It uses a fuel pump because the bottom of the tank's right down here below the level of the carburetors. So that's a sort of a job which I can do a bit at a time, just like that one. Although this one, I am going to take that head to an engineer in, I think he's in Seville, and get him to repair all the fins on it because I want it to look good. And I might even use the old exhaust from this bike and get a new Delcovic system for this bike. The only thing I don't like about them is they don't use the original collars. I do like those. So getting back to the Fairlane, I need that guard brace. If anyone's got one for sale, I'd love to know about it. The other thing I need is my little hydro blasting box. These are XD indicator retaining springs. They're shorter than the ZLZKs, or what do you call them, ZK. They're a bit longer and I need one. There's that box of stuff that I've lost. I don't know where it is, but it's got a lot of stuff that I need in it. So I can't put those indicators on. I've got one on, but I can't put the other one on until I've got that other spring. And I've got to work out how the hell I'm going to put that moulding on. The old urethane you used to get in the 90s when I was doing used car reconditioning would definitely hold those trims on. But the new stuff that I have used is more like Celastic, so it's not going to be strong enough. Right, this is crazy. I don't know why Well, first of all, you look in there with a torch, and it looks like there's a big scar in the bottom of the tank. I'm not sure if that's that two-part adhesive or somebody welded it. I'm going to try this. It's going to be futile. It's a little siphoning thing, but I don't want to put all the silt through the what do you call it? Through the is it going to work? Oh, it worked. I'm just going to try and filter that a bit. Just using a paint filter. It worked surprisingly better than I thought it would. And we're just about done. Alright, that's all we picked up, it's not too bad. And there's quite a bit of fuel in there. It's only a 15 litre tank. And this is what I'm talking about. The we've got this kneaded stuff. And we're rusty. It hasn't leaked, but a leak is going to be far away. It would have been easier if Yamaha did what Suzuki did. Across that whole tank is actually just a luggage compartment, if you like, and a helmet will fit in the whole thing, and the tank is a plastic thing underneath. And that would have been far better if they did the same thing here. It's welded around there. It's going to be tricky around here. But in some ways I wonder if it's going to be easier. You can either use a tank liner, or you can just cut that whole bottom off and just weld a new one on, provided our welds are decent. But I'm going to have to take this tap off. There's still a little bit of fuel in there, but not a great deal. So I'll take that off and we'll see, because that sealer is going right up to the tap. Even using JIS stuff, I ended up chomping these up a bit. I don't think it matters because I'm not going to put screws in. I'll put hex nuts on when I refit it. I think somebody beforehand used Phillips. They haven't used JIS. But they're just regular 6mm. Might have to make another plate. Here's what it is. Whoopsie. So I guess the next thing is to drain the rest of that out. So at least the tank's empty, and I'll have to make up something to seal it off. And that wasn't nearly as forgiving. Oh, look, water. That's not good. Just going to use a bit of this stuff. Because I don't want to use my little Dremel thing, because if we get a spark, we're going to know all about it. But, you know, this tank is probably a bit far gone. We could probably use the tank liner. The problem is the fuel goes up the cheeks and along the top of the tank, and you can't get to it. You can't even see it. Now I'm tipping there's rust there, but probably not as bad as down here, because the water sits at the bottom of the fuel. This is just what we did before. I'm going to reach around. Not a reach around, but you know, yes. And I made a little plate. And I didn't have the right size wad punch, so yeah, what do you do? I'm going to drown this in Permatex. And I've even gone so far as to salvage the fibre washers, because I didn't have the right size, for conventional hex nuts. So, we'll drown this as well. Probably have to use thinners to get it off our bloody hands. The Honda one that I had, or that I made a while ago, isn't ever going to fit this, because they're wider apart. The Yamaha one's wider apart. I just wish they used a plastic insert in the tank. It would have been so much better and easier, and probably even cheaper to produce. Who knows? I'm just going to throw some Permatex around those fibre washers too. And we can just wash it all off in fuel. Make the inside of our socket really sticky. There we go. We're not here to win awards. Right, we've got a little squeal fuel tank. Let's put water in and see what happens. Oh, lovely. Is it leaking? Hopefully not. I'm just going to leave some water in it. And if it doesn't leak, we'll add a whole lot of vinegar. Right, I've been swilling water around here. This isn't the safest thing I'm about to do, but I do want to have a bit of a look with my endoscope. But I'm not going to hang around in there very long. We're good to go. You can just see the scale everywhere. I don't want to go down to the water. But it's not particularly pretty. But down here, let me just change cameras. That's the roof of the tank. That doesn't look terrible. That's the drain tube. I reckon this will come back at least. Some of it will. The thing is, there's quite a lot of real estate in there. What's down there? Ah, there's a tunnel. Right down in there. That goes down the cheeks. Look, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to change cameras again. This looks to me that most of the damage is just in that bowl. So that didn't strike me as looking as bad as I thought it would. I'm going to put 4 litres of Coles white vinegar. It's $1.88 for 2 litres. There's probably better ways of doing this, but I use it because it's cheap and it works. Oh damn. So I'm just going to fill it up like we did with the 350. I should have probably bought a third one. Should have bought the third one, I reckon. So this is the insert from the bumper on the Fairlane, the front bumper. It is absolutely weightless. There's nothing in it at all. I took it out because I thought that whole framework would be heavy. I mean, the irons obviously weighed a little bit, but most of the weight is in the bumper itself, the actual skin. This is really flopsy mopsy, this thing. Whoopsie. And it's faded and old, you know, how they go. But I might put that sort of skin back, or not the skin, what do you call it, the framework back in. Well, it's good that I took it off because it's so dirty inside. And I've sort of given it a rudimentary clean. See if I can clean it up a bit further, just where the screws, just where it's secured. So I might paint it with the, I might paint it with the screws in situ by just trying to remove some of this. Mark, hang on a second, I'll just move you. And I'm not sure how successful it's going to be, but this is one example of me wanting to paint over screws. I never normally want to, I don't like that, but in this case I'm going to make an exception. Just try and get rid of some of this crappy. There's a lot of darkness coming off it. well, it is cleaning up somewhat. I think I will recoat it though. I'm just going around with a bit of Scotch-Brite just to try and clean it a bit. I'm going to have to get in closer, I think. I'll just wrap it around a ruler or something just to get into these bits. But I need to get rid of all that muck so I can paint it. There we go. But in the meantime, I just want to put those things in, the framework back in. This seems to do a good job, this Scotch-Brite. It's kind of worn, so it's not going to scratch it too badly. But, it'll do for now. Well, the sun comes out, so does the gun. The Fairlane's bumper. Oh, I've just blown over it. Like that. Not the greatest job, but the whole car's not the greatest job. And this, you can't really see the colour there, that is Ford Walnut Glow. My brother had a GT XB in sandstone beige with walnut glow, and we're wondering whether that might be a better, you can't see it, the sun's gone behind the house. I'm just wondering if that might be better than Summer Gold. It's just a little spray out of one of the Fairlane's engine mounts, the 6-cylinder one, so I'll give it to him and see what he thinks. In the meantime, let's do more of this. This is kind of the last bit of painting I can do. So the story is this. I wanted to paint that properly underneath, and you can see all the screws holding it. It's very dodgy. That's how the car was. All of this gets marked off and painted with it's a bumper paint in a metal can. I don't know how good it is, but we're going to try. Oh, I'm going to move the... I have to move the tripod. Hang on a minute. Oh, I might get away with it. So I've mixed a Flexaid in this. I'm running out. Yeah, I've got to go under here too. So I don't want that getting too wet because, well, it's kind of wet, but I don't want it getting, like I'm not going to go too carried away with it because it's getting cold now. Like it's starting to cool down in temperature. So, oops, I'm going to get a run. A run on a sprayer, it's not great. And I'm painting it in a stupid place. Check it out in the sun. Can you see that? It is absolutely beautiful. Speaking of beautiful colours, I want to show you something else. This colour is bloody expensive. It's a Mercedes-Benz colour. And it's a deep olive metallic. It's full of pearl apparently. I just want to let that drain off. I want to have a look at it outside. Although we're running low on daylight now. So yeah, quite an expensive paint. Can we see it in the sun? Ah, oh, damn. Hang on. It's going to drip. Looks black there, doesn't it? Just a minute. Oh, what about there? Hang on. Hang on, whoa, whoa, don't let it drip, don't let it drip. There it is. Look at that. How absolutely exquisite is that colour? That's the colour we're going to do the bikes. Well, I got it for the little 250 gig I bought. Starting to think I might use it on the special, the 350. Honda used a series of candies. That is not what I wanted. Hang on a minute. Out of the woods. Honda used candies back in the day. This is from Milsom's, as usual. And if you like it, it's Mercedes-Benz 739. I think it's just to die for. I think it's lovely. Now, speaking of those bikes, right, haven't done any more disassembly on this. We've still got that full of vinegar. Picked up these two tanks. One's GD380, GD550. The other's CB500. That's the one I wanted to use on this, but it's too big. It's a much more sizable tank. That I got these both at an auction, $10, $95, and they're in pretty good nick. Also, these two rear guards I got for $10 each. And they're proper Honda ones. This tank is in very good condition. I'll stick it up here so you can see. It's straight as an arrow. It's got the lid, but it hasn't got the lock. Now, it has had a repair there. Someone's brazed it. So, obviously, rust has got to it. But it's in absolutely beautiful shape. There was a bidding war with that one. This is a bit dented, but as far as the inside's concerned, it's not bad at all. You know, it's got dent there, and it's got a big one where someone's stuck their knee into it or whatever. But yeah, 10 bucks. But we can bodywork that to a point if I need to use it. There's another eBay tank I've got which I think I might use. It looks a little like that, but it's a bit more stout, but it's also got a knee dimple sort of thing in it there. So, you know, this is much later on, but as I see parts, I do like to pick them up. And that can wait, that all can wait, I don't really care. There's our walnut glow. I don't think my brother likes it, there's too much red in it, he said. I like it, I reckon it looks fantastic. It's a beautiful colour. What's the other thing I was going to say? Oh, and that's the Mercedes-Benz colour. So peachy. There. So, anyway. On that note, this oh, that's right. I haven't put in a whole lot of clear on that, just enough to keep it clean, make it smooth. But I haven't absolutely barraged it with clear because I don't want it to crack. It's only quite thin. It's only got sort of 2 coats of clear, or 2 coats of colour and 2 of clear. I haven't sort of piled the paint on. Once it's sort of finished off, then I'll fine line in here and around there and paint all that black, which will come up fine there, but on this edge here, the top edge with the one you see, there is UV damage. So, you know, hopefully when I put a chrome strip in and stick it on the car, it'll sort of blend in and look alright. But on that note, I'm going to say thanks very much for watching. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.